So, hello everybody. My name is Adwithey, as you know. This is my second ever video on this channel. Today, another video on Islands, Roblox, as I explained to you some basics in the last video. In this video, what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you all the bosses and their weaknesses, which can be affected in different weapons and that stuff. Now in the end, I also want to expand my island a little bit, but I don't know if we would have enough time for that, so let's see. So here we go. Oh, so winter. There are seasons in this game. Okay, let's get straight into it. There are a couple of bosses, and you can learn them by this, a combat guide. This tells you each boss and each mob in the game and its weakness and resistance. I'll be going through the bosses, not the mobs. So these are all of the bosses. Yes, these all are the bosses. We'll start with the simple one, which is the Slime King. Slime King is basically a huge slime. It attacks. Its resistance is striking, and magically is hydro. And its weakness is slashing and inferno. If you want to know, you can go into magic for inferno, or in melee for inferno, or archery for whatever you need. In melee, slashing is like this. This is piercing. This is slashing. Like swords, they do basic slashing. This is slashing. This is striking. Hammers don't do that, but slashing this. So this is the weakness. And the the inferno, that here. In the inferno hammer, it has a physical of striking, which is not the weakness. Oh god. Whoa, no, it's a resistance. Yes. So which is not the weakness of the Slime King, but it has magical inferno, which is where did it go? Oh, here. Which is the weakness. So that's one boss down, and the weapons you should use. The weapons you should use for the Slime King are basically swords, Any type of swords, like the obsidian great sword, the iron sword, which I wasn't able to find, but the rage blade, the jolly dagger, Kong's axe, and the jolly dagger, these stuff, and the cross sword. These you could equip in an event, which is now not available. Same with the Reapers, whatever that is. And Shroud's Fury is also that. But Shroud's Fury is means it's achieved in a fishing festival, which comes every year, if I remember correctly. The Captain's Rapier does piercing. So basically, any type of swords, and if you want to do magical damage, you should use the Inferno Hammer or anything with Inferno, which is like the spellbook. There's Inferno, the normal spellbook. There's Inferno damage, and nothing else does any damage. It also shows you how much damage it does. This does 22 is the base damage. Critical can be about 40 or so. I don't quite know, but the base damage, it means it would at least do 22 damage to the boss. Now that's the Slime King. There's two bosses in Slime Island. There's the Slime Queen, which is a much more harder boss to beat. She's one of the strongest bosses. So her resistance is against striking as physical, and in magical, ethereal, and hydro are her resistance is. Her weakness is again slashing, but the magical one, she has Inferno and Void. Now we talked about the slashing and Inferno, but Void, that is in some special ones. The Serpent's Vein doesn't have it, even though it is from that biome. The Serpent's Hook has the magical Void damage. So you should use the Serpent's Hook in order to fight against the Slime Queen. And there are other Void ones as well, like the magical Spellbook, the Spirit Spellbook. It's Void, and the other ones are not at all. So let's move on, and the next one, let's go with the Wizard Boss. The Wizard Boss is in the Wizard biome, or known as the Wizard Island. The physical is striking again. The magical, this time, it's not the weakness which is Inferno, it's the resistance which is Inferno, which means it can take Inferno damage and it can take damage which is Storm. The weaknesses are Piercing, Hydro, and Quake. Now I'll show you this. Piercing, one great example, is the Cactus Spike. It does piercing damage. Another example of that is the Captain's Rapier. It does piercing damage. And others do piercing damage. But the other two ones that the Wizard Boss had as weaknesses, Hydro and Quake. Now Hydro is in Magic. Title Spellbook is a Hydro one, and if you want Quake, it's either the Staff of Godzilla or the Ruby Staff. Now you can't obtain the Staff of Godzilla anymore because it's not available anymore, because it was in the Kong and Godzilla event, which I also missed out. So yes, so I'll use the Ruby Staff for the Quake. I'll also show you the recipes that you need to make these. Next one is let's go with the Desert Boss, which is the next one. The Desert Boss's resistance is again striking, but this time the resistance is Quake and Network. And the weaknesses, the physical weakness that Ba has is none, which means if you're doing physical damage, which is like these melee hits, like the physical damage, you will not be able to have any extra damage to the Ba boss or the Desert Boss with any physical damage. But in magical, Storm and Void, these are the ones that you can use. Now I'll tell you how to get both of those. Now, not how to, but how they are. So it's Storm and Void. Void you can, as I said, these two. And Storm, the only one is Lightning Spectre. Now how do you get this? This one is a special one, because if you go into the anvil where you make these, you cannot find the Spectre Storm. Are they? Oh, there's the answer. But the Scepter, that's the Slime Queen's Scepter. I need the Scepter Storm. You can't find it. It's because you need a blueprint for it. So how do you get the blueprint? You have to kill the Wizard Boss, because her resistance is Storm. You have to kill her, and there is about, I think, I don't remember what the chances are, but it's a really rare thing to get this, and I have not done it yet. Lightning Spectre. There's more stuff, and that's for Ba. Next, let's go with Fayhorn. Now, Fanhorn, okay. For Fanhorn, this guy is the boss, if I'm not mistaken, of the Maple Isles. Now, those are an area where you get like maple syrup and stuff. And his resistance is slashing, hydro, and ethereal. So the different one from everyone others, physical resistance, slashing, magical, hydro, and ethereal. The weaknesses are physically piercing, inferno, and void, which, as I told you earlier, are there. And then there is, let's do the infernal dragon. This guy is caught in the underworld. His resistance is void, inferno, and striking, while his weakness is piercing, ethereal, and hydro. Now, what do you mean by ethereal? I quite don't know which one actually has the ethereal, except the one that I have. Let's see. These all have frost, none, inferno. The one that I have is the Jolly Dagger, which has ethereal. If you wanted the Jolly Dagger, you had to get it in the Christmas event, which is now over. I have it, but if you wanted to get it, sorry, it's not anymore available. There's the Kong's Axe, the Maple Shield, the Obsidian Greatsword, the Pumpkin Hammer, the Rage Blade, the Ruby Sword, Serpent Spin, Serpent's Hook, Stone Sword, and Dragon's Lair, the Raper of the Trout's Furry, okay, so in melee, basically nothing actually does ethereal damage in melee except the Jolly Dagger, of course. And in magical, if I remember correctly, yes. So the Slime Queen's Scepter does an ethereal damage. I'll explain to you how to get it back later on in the video. Now, the next one is the Void Serpent. Now, the Void Serpent is one of the, if not the newest boss in the game. It was added when the Void Isles were added. That's its biome. And if you want to go to the Void Isles, you have to go to the Desert Island, and there is a portal there from where you go to the Void Isles. His resistance is piercing, void, and storm. His weakness is slashing, ethereal, and quake. As I said, quake. You have to do the Ruby Scepter or the Staff of Godzilla. And then there's the last boss, which is Core. Core is the boss that I fought. No, did I fight Core in the last video? My first ever video? No, I didn't. Sorry guys, I forgot. But Core is the Diamond Mines boss. He is the boss for which you require 46 heavy melee levels. Now there's physical. He is resistant to piercing, slashing, and quake. His weaknesses. Physically, there's none of his weaknesses, just like Hawk. And in magical, there's only storm. To be honest, this is the only boss in the game to which I do not own a weakness, because the only storm is the Lightning Spectre, which I've not been able to get. If you go into the anvil, you never find the Lightning Spectre, as well as you need a missing blueprint. You need a blueprint to find the Rage Blade. And here we go. Let's just search it. LNG. There's only this coming. Then there's also the. You can search in the workbench if you want. Who knows? Nope. It's only the lightning station. Right here. Nope. Basically, that's all. Now, how to craft these different things. I'll get my combat guide. And I'll explain you how to craft each and every object in this game. This is going to take long, but don't worry. Basically, the antler hammer, you need, if you want to craft it, you actually can't, because you have to get lucky with the Feyhorn guy, and for that you need to you need to make some. I'll show you. Close that. Close. You need to make some. Oh no. You need some. Where is it? Here we go. Feyhorn pancakes. Consume for 5 of Feyhorn, granting small chances of finding antler weapons. That's how you basically get those. The next one, which is, let's see which that is the next one. Today I'll explain the melee. In the next one, which is going to be part 2, I'll explain archery, and in the last one, or maybe I'll explain archery and magic together. Yeah, in part 2 I'll explain archery and magic. So antler shields, that's also, you get it from the luck. Have to consume the Feyhorn pancakes and stuff. The aquarium sword. To make this one, you have to have 200 aquarium shards, which are found in the hub in the underwater part, which is near the fisherman. And you need some pearls, which you get by just fishing. And if you're lucky, you get some pearls. The cactus spike, if I remember correctly, yeah, it's just 100 cactus. You have to grow cactus, which you have to buy from the Cletius, who's the farmer, and in that way you get it. You get the cactus seeds, you grow them, and when you get 100 cactus, you basically make it. The next one, the cutlass. I quite don't know how to get the cutlass, if I'm being honest, but from my understanding, the cutlass was a weapon available on an event, and it's not anymore available. So basically, unlucky, I guess. The diamond greatsword, and I'll also explain the diamond warhammer. For the diamond greatsword and warhammer, which is here, you basically need 10 enchanted diamonds, which are a rare chance of getting by fighting core. 80 diamonds, which is for this also 80, and 5 glided steel rods. Now you make glided steel rods by making a steel rod and then combining it with 20 gold. You make a glided steel rod. That's the basic way of creating the glided steel rods, and they are a need to create the diamond greatsword and the diamond warhammer. Next up, let's see who's on our list. It's the frost hammer and the frost sword. Now, if you wanted this, unfortunately, again, this was available in not the Christmas event that the Jolly Dagger was available on. In an older Christmas event, I think the frost hammer and the frost sword were available. So if you try to search it in the anvil, nothing comes. So that's again bad luck, I guess. Then there's the glided steel hammer. The glided steel hammer is basically the weapon which gets you into fighting. Now it's not that easy to get because it costs something really hard to get. So the glided steel rod, gold ingots, these two are done. Then you need a buffalo core crystal. Now that's not easy to get. It's a rare job from killing buffalo cores, which are mobs present on Buffalo Core Island. And you also need glided steel rods. The next one, let's see what it is. Glided steel hammer. The granite hammer, that's easy. You just have to Basically, for the granite hammer, 1 minute, I'll be right back. Hello guys, sorry there was some problems. I don't know what happened. I heard like the door opening, but I don't know what happened. But yeah, in the same way, the granite hammer. This is really easy to make. You just need some granite which you can get from the hub, and with that granite, you just have to put some iron into it, which basically makes the granite hammer. And that's it. That's most probably the most easiest weapon you can make. Then there's the infernal hammer, which you have to make by getting 200 magma blocks. You also need 50 steel plates. Let me just check. Okay, here it is. Yes, you need an infernal flame, which is a single yet rare flame from the infernal dragon. You need 200 magma blocks, 50 steel plates, and 5 glided steel rods. Then, that's how you make the infernal hammer. And the next one is the iron sword. Now, the iron sword is really easy. You just have some iron. It's literally iron and wood. Yes. It's also one of the more easier ones, but you have to get iron for that. So it's probably more easier to make the granite hammer. The iron war axe. This is most probably the first ever weapon that anyone would make. It's a war axe basically that needs 1 steel rod, 40 iron. Those two are easy. But here's the very rare one. Crystallized iron. Now, I have found 6 to 7 crystallized gold, and I've not found a single crystallized iron. It's really rare. Rare job for mining iron, which you can mine at Buffalo Island or at the hub. The next one after the iron axe hammer is the Jolly Dagger. Again, this is a event weapon, so if you didn't get it in the event, you can't get it anymore. Same with the pumpkin hammer, you can't get it anymore. And same with the Reaper's back, you can't. And also with the Trout Sword. Now there's the and also with the Kong's axe, that's also an event thing. Now the maple shield, if I remember correctly, which I might not, because it's been a long time since I've used this. Yes, you make the maple shield from here, the maple workbench, which you have to make. I don't remember quite the ingredients how to make it, but you need 150 maple wood and 25 iron. You basically get maple wood by buying the saplings from the Kletsius, and then you grow them and get the adequate amount of stuff. Then after the maple shield, there's the obsidian greatsword. Now the obsidian greatsword, you basically, for this, it's not that easy because you have to get 6 crystallized obsidian and an obsidian hilt that you buy from a pirate at Pirate Island. You can probably figure out where Pirate Island is. It's a place in the hub. You can teleport to there from the hub. The next one is the pumpkin hammer, which I told you is an event weapon. The rage blade. Now the rage blade is one of the ones which is like really tough because first of all you need really rare game stuff like the red bronze. You need 100 of it, which is really hard to make, and 20 maple. And also you have to actually find a blueprint. How you find it, if I remember correctly, you have to kill buffalo cores, and there's a rare chance that you actually get the rage blade blueprint, and then you have to make the rage blade, which also takes a long time. It's one of the more like late game stuff, and like one of the more, you can say, like harder stuff to get. And there's the ruby sword, which is also very hard. And to be frank, the ruby sword I got really later than it came out, because for a long time I didn't know it was actually out. So basically, to make the ruby sword, you have to actually have an adequate level of light melee. Now you might be wondering, how did I get there? Basically, I got it because at the time when I got the ruby sword, there was actually no rule. So this light melee stuff, this came out like very recently. When I got the ruby sword, there was no limit to which light melee you needed to get it. So that's how I kind of got it. Lucky me, but you need 8. The ingredients are here. You need 8 rubies, I think, which you get by killing the boss Ha, and it's a rare chance. You also need some iron. It doesn't look really. And you need, I think, 5 ruby scorp skill. Now there are 3 scorpions on the island of Ha. These 3 are those. You need to kill a ruby scorp and get a ruby scorp skill, which is rare, 5 times really, to get to craft the ruby sword. Next is the serpent's bane and the serpent's hook. Now these 2 are one of the more mysterious ones, because you think that they're really hard to get, but they're not that hard. You just need amethyst, which is really easy to get. You also only need iron and lighted steel, and the serpent's fang for the hook, and the serpent's bane. The serpent's scale for the serpent's bane. Basically, the serpent's scale and the fang are hard objects, or you can say really rare objects that you get by beating the boss, which is the what is it called again? I think I forgot what it's called. The void serpent. Yes, that guy. Why did I? Okay. And there's the stone sword, which is basically like the iron sword, a little bit less damage it does, and the wooden sword, which is basically like the others. The captain's rapier, if I remember correctly, there's this guy called Davy. Now he comes to your island giving you different treasure maps that you have to do and dig up. And if I'm correct, one of the treasure maps might be the Pirate Island treasure map, and there's a rare chance to get the captain's rapier in it. Then there's the Dragon Slayer, which is obtained from the underworld. No, not like literally obtained. You have to actually craft it, but here's the way you craft it. Here it is. So it's an opal sword hilt, which is basically a sword hilt, which is really rare, and you get it by defeating the what is it called? Inferno Dragon. The opal, which is beautiful and rare, and it's basically obtained in that biome in the underworld. You can find it by killing mobs present on that island or stuff. I'll show you. You get them by killing these 2 mobs, the magma golem and the magma blob, and also it's present as stone, like in the underworld. And then there's a few more left. Now, as I said, these 2, they are a event one, so unlucky. The wooden mallet. finally, this is the most easiest, even easier than the granite hammer. Basically, to make the wooden mallet, which you don't actually make in the anvil, I just remember, you make it in here. You just need 40 oak wood. It's that simple. And you can make a wooden mallet, which does a certain damage. You can see, I can show you here. It does 12 damage, which is better than the wooden sword, but that's because it just takes less. And it does less than the stone sword. So that's pretty much it for this video. I just basically wanted to tell you how you get these weapons, and how are the bosses, what are their weaknesses. In the next one, I'm planning on how to tell you to expand your island in the best way. Now I've done like many things for like aesthetics, but you to make your island efficient, in the next video I'll tell you some tips. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.